is Bill Parker, president of U.A.W. Local 1700. We represent the hourly employees at Chrysler's Sterling Heights Assembly Plant. It's one of the plants that was left behind in the transition of assets to the new company.
Well, tell me a little bit about how many workers have been affected in your plant, and how this has affected people's lives there.
Well, our plant will continue to run until December of 2010, but at that point, under current plans, production will cease and will have to be picked up at other facilities. So this is going to be a big change for us, for our membership, although under the terms of the Chrysler collective bargaining agreement with the U.A.W., our members will be protected. But it still means that there's overall a loss of jobs here in the United States, while Chrysler's keeping open a similar plant in Mexico that builds off of the same platform as us. Our concern is that in every single decision that Chrysler made or that Fiat made relative to what plants to keep open, they've chosen to close plants in the United States and keep plants open in other countries. So whether that's the truck plant in St. Louis being closed while the truck plant in Saltillo, Mexico stays open, our facility, Kenosha Engine, promised an engine similar to the one being built in Mexico, or the decision last year to close St. Louis South minivan plant and keep the minivan production in Windsor. Every case, Chrysler's made the decision to close U.S. manufacturing, 8 assembly plants closing in the United States with no impact in any other country. Clearly that's not right when the taxpayers in this country have given Chrysler $10 billion in an effort to save it. I think everybody's assumption was that would mean saving not the company, but saving the jobs in this country.
So, in the effect of how we're losing American manufacturing, why do you think that was? Do you think that was deliberately done to move offshore so that they don't have to pay union wages here in the United States?
I think that they're taking advantage of the fact that there's no limitation on them moving jobs and investment over the border. And as long as that's the case, they're going to continue to look for the cheapest labor costs, and that's going to strip America of the jobs that have really advanced it through the years. The jobs in the auto plants like the one that I represent, steel mills, mines, those are the jobs that have really helped to propel the middle class here in this country, and those are the jobs that are being destroyed.
So the American taxpayers basically have been underwriting.
Yes, and that's what's particularly cruel at Chrysler or General Motors, that the taxpayers are coming forward with the money, but the jobs are going anyway.
So how in the 2011 proposals, in effect, aren't they helping to help make Michigan and other similar states right-to-work states by actually dictating the terms of what workers can negotiate for when they talk about comparable wages to foreign operations?
Well, I've got issues with what the government did, and I think that's going to have to come up at some point as we look at what is the role of the government in forcing changes on labor relations issues in this kind of situation. Obviously, we're appreciative that many forces came together to keep Chrysler alive and not to have the company simply liquidated in bankruptcy, but and we made sacrifices as a result. But our concern is the jobs and the preservation of the jobs for our membership.
Well, in terms of the innovation that's happening within the industry, whether it's in battery technologies or other design, have the workers been consulted in terms of opening new doors for them as other operations have been closed down?
Well, there hasn't been that kind of discussion taking place. Frankly, there hasn't been really much discussion on those questions at all. I heard Senator Stabenow speak, talking about the difference in the commitment of European countries to battery technology versus the weak commitment that's existed here in this country. And we're facing the prospect of yet one more field that doesn't even gain a foothold here, even though initial technology was developed here.
I was talking with some folks from Toledo who were talking about with the Jeep Wrangler facility that they've basically broken up some of the divisions, the frame and assembly and frame and paint and other divisions, and in effect they're now owned by it's owned by Korea, other companies,
right.
But they actually pay a lower wage. Can you talk about what Chrysler workers have basically been, in effect, minimized or reduced into other type of job categories?
Well, Toledo's the biggest example of the company splitting off work and giving it to suppliers and paying lower wages. We haven't done that in the other traditional U.A.W. facilities. It's interesting to me that Fiat found the Toledo situation to be very favorable, and I think it's one of the things that we're competing against. I think they're asking for me over there.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And could you repeat your name just for the record again?
Bill Parker.
Thank you, Bill.
President of Local 1700.
Appreciate it.
Making sure